Yeah, I agree with pretty much everybody up here right now on this matter. I like what you said, Bree, just now about um, letting him do it. We got to watch for the signs or whatnot. He has to go through the healing so he won't totally reenact what his dad has done to him or whatnot, or allegedly. I'm not sure who it was done to say. But at the same time, what was concerning to me in the situation and also with Jess is the wording that they were using to push the men to make amends. LaRonda's very good and calculated at her word, and as we can see, where she takes her pauses to make sure she's saying what she needs to say delicately around Sean. Jess is a little bit more passionate, so I understand her just kind of like saying it all out the way she did. But LaRonda was sitting there comparing her relationship with her father to his relationship with his father. It's not the same. And you can't use that to sit there and say, well, I have a good relationship with my dad and we're good. And so you need to have one with your dad. It just doesn't work that way. I have a good relationship with my dad, but my partner may not. Whereas he has a good relationship with his mom and I do not. So we don't push each other in that regards like that. You can't do that. You can only suggest, hey, what is the reasons why you don't want to go down this road? You don't want to have this conversation with this parent or whatnot. And let's work from there. Let's resolve those issues, because those are still playing into your head to where you're having the breakdowns and you're crying and you're very negative towards this. And especially a person that is coming from a DV situation, you don't want to push them back into that situation, because now they have that hostility, that animosity that they grew up with as a child. And you're pushing them as a man to face another man. So therefore, all of that can come out in a very negative way. And then they come back to you saying, see, this is why I didn't want to go down this road. This is why I didn't want to do it and all this stuff. And now they're pushing it on you. So you got to be very careful of how you word the things that you may want to happen. And it may be just coming from a very genuine place. But you have to give these people time to walk down that path on their own and in their right time. And Sean needs healing first. He needs to close that door so he can be able to say, you know what? I forgave you. I forgave you when you wasn't there. And so whatever you say to me now, it doesn't even matter. I'm okay. I understand you went through what you went through and you made your choices that you made, and it didn't involve me, but I'm a better man. And I'm going to be a better man than you were and a better father than you were. And I still love you for bringing me into this world. But I don't love the things that you put me through. And at this point, if I want to mend a relationship with you, we can take the steps to go forward if his dad is in the right place. And if he don't, he'll be okay and he'll be able to move forward and just be whole in knowing that I was able to stand to my father and not break down, not get angry, not feel some type of way about everything that has been done to me in the past. We have to close that first before we even move to sitting there trying to mend a relationship with that person. That is not an easy thing to do. And this is coming from experience. I'll get into that later when we talk about the mother thing, because like I said, I have the issues with the mom. But this is coming from experience, that walking down that path and looking for forgiveness from a person that doesn't feel like they're sorry at what they did, you're never going to get it. You're going to just keep getting hurt waiting on that sorry. And I appreciate Dr. Nicole's words in that. I say it's forgiveness. She said resolve. I appreciate that. I don't need resolution with that person. I don't need to have a sit down and try to make them feel bad for what they don't feel bad about. Because if they never came to me and said, I'm sorry for how I did you, how I raised you, they don't feel bad. So you can't force it out of them. All you're going to do is keep hurting yourself over and over and over, trying to wait for that to happen. You got to find peace within yourself, then move forward however you decide to move forward, with or without that parent. And that's my piece on that right now.
Wicked bars. We appreciate that, Chef. Thank you very much. And a bit of seasoning and salt. Appreciate that. Brittany, and then Sean. Sean wants to add. Sorry, Sean wants to add. Brittany, go for it. You wanted to add earlier on. I do apologize.
Yeah, I'll answer this first, and then I'll go back to what I wanted to add. Or actually, no, I'll add first. So it was just a question, and it was towards what Bree's saying about potential, because I mentioned that as well. And I do believe that you should not marry potential, right? Especially at the age that they're at, because when you're going into marriage, that's a real risk you're taking, right? Because usually you would want to go into a marriage, whole. I'm not saying everything has to be healed as of yet, but at least be working towards it, right? And at least you know what you're marrying, and you know that the person that you are marrying is working towards a goal of healing. Now, my thing was, what if Sean were to reach his full potential, right, while they were in marriage, and he is not getting everything he needs from LaRonda in regards to the new space he's in and the new man he has become, because now he has gotten healing from his insecurities. Usually you end up seeing men, I won't say usually, sometimes they leave or they end up stepping out because they can't get what they want, or they're not receiving what they need from the person they're married to. It's a possibility. It happens sometimes. And also, it kind of looks like she's building him up for the next woman, kind of. It's just something to think about for her, because it can happen that way. And you've seen it happen whether people are married or not. You're kind of building him up, but then when he reaches that point, what is he going to do? So now, to the question that you posed now about, the whole daddy thing. Now, I'm going through this already. You cannot do the way she phrased it to him. You can't push him into doing something he's not ready to do yet. He's clearly still going through some things in his mind on how he even would approach this, because he's clearly still dealing with how things went from when he was a child. He doesn't know how to do that. So I agree with everybody and what they're saying about therapy, which is something he needs. He needs somebody to help guide him down that path and give him tools and strategies on how to deal with those insecurities and issues and feelings he harbors towards his father, step by step, because this is a step by step task. Like, this is not gonna be something that is done within 2 weeks. No, it's not gonna happen like that. And I've gone through it. Like I've said, like, it's taken me years to get to a point where I can forgive my father, and I even apologize to him for the things I've said to him. That's me being a bigger person, because he's done a lot to me that I don't think he's recognized has hurt me. Oh my gosh. But I love my father so much that I just keep him in my prayers, because I have an understanding as to why he cannot give me what I need from him. And these are happy tears, y'all, because I've gotten to a place where I'm okay with it. And like Dr. Nicole said, Sean could literally be waiting until the day his father's on his deathbed. And I already thought about those things. I'm not waiting until my dad is on his deathbed for me to receive healing, because then I'll never have room to receive the gifts and the blessings that are going to come towards me. I'll never be able to receive, love from a man that I feel like I want from my father. I'm not seeking that from a man, but I'm good with where I am with my father right now, because I've gotten the backstory about him and why he is the way he is. And I feel like, if for those people who are dealing with that, what you should do, or I would suggest you should do, is ask family, friends, and people who have an understanding of how your parents grew up to understand why they are the person that they are now. I'm telling you, it will give you so much understanding, and it will be so much easier for you to just let go, because you're not going to get something from somebody they do not have the capacity to actually give. And that's where people go wrong about parents and sisters or brothers. Like, if someone has not been taught to give something that you need, they cannot give it to you. They don't have the capacity to give it that way. So you have to give them grace and understand that they have to go through their own process. I know my dad has not gone through that yet, and I don't even think he wants to, because he's in such an older age now. So you got to allow people to do what it is they need to do to get to where it is, they need to be for themselves, because it's not about you. Like, I had to realize with my father, it's not about me. It is not about me. And that's the selfish part that you have to let go of. And if you really want to have a good life, I'm telling you, find a way to not reconcile, because you're probably not going to get what it is you want from them. I've tried it with my father already. Stone cold, no emotion, nothing. He doesn't understand it. He won't get it. I can't make him get it. I cannot do that. All I can do is be there for him as his daughter. And honestly, I was listening to somebody say this the other day. The only way a father can heal is if their sons are healed. A daughter cannot do that for the father. It's a different dynamic. And that's something I can't speak on, but just listening to it come from another man, he has to find some way to get through this without people pushing him. Sean has to come to that realization on his own, and I think he will, but comparing and contrasting is not going to do it. If anything, it's going to cause him to shut down, and I think that's what I saw Sean do. He just shut down because it's like, okay, she doesn't get it. And if you feel like that is such a huge red flag for you, then he might not be the person you need to be with. And that's just the honest truth. It's unfortunate. You love him. Cool. You can love him from a distance too, because then you're holding your life up for somebody that's never going to get to a place you want them to be.
Feel what you've just said. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I shared it, because it took me years to get to this point. Even though I'm only 29, but I started trying to heal since I was a kid. Like, I had to go to my mother, I had to go to my aunts, my brother, my father's sisters, to understand who he was. That was the only way I was going to let go. And I feel like that helped some people in the chat with, and even if Sean is listening, you got to dig deep into your parents' life to find out why they are who they are, because they're probably never going to tell you. More than likely they're not, especially with the generation they're from. I can't get anything out of him other than what he decides to show me or what I see him display. And if I'm getting stone cold, no emotion from him, he's not going to give it to me, regardless of the question I ask him or how I decide to state the question. It doesn't matter. He knows what I'm doing, and he's not ready to go there. So I can't force him to do that. That's with anybody in life. You can't force friends. You can't force your mother. You can't force children. It does not matter, because children are very smart too. So you got to let people deal with things the way they deal with them and allow them to work through their processes. Everybody's not me. And that's something I had to realize. You can't force people to do something they're not ready to do. And that's just what it is. And you just love them through it. And if you can't, it's time to back away. That's it.